I was gonna go by genre, but I decided this might take some time. Plus, this list is gonna be subject to change, so I just might change them. I might add a tier just in case. If I add something below here, I'm going to I'm going to add a banished tier here. God, this is a this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. This is not how I wanted this to go. But that's why we're here. This is terrible, man. I don't like the colors. I don't like the colors, but I'm gonna change them. I'm gonna change them as I go. So, oh my god. See, I see. I knew this was going to. I knew this was going to take some time, but not this long. Shit. So, okay, here we go. So, I've chosen from my library. You gotta be kidding me. Can you see the frustration on my face? So, so as you see, I've chosen for my collection a whole bunch of games from here. So, um, instead of going by genre, we're just gonna pick. We're gonna pick a game. Tell you why it's on that certain tier, and see what memories I have with the game that I just so happen to choose. So, I believe the first one that we can start with is the Insomniac Spider-Man trilogy. I will put that. All of them will be in S tier. Well, two of them really. Spider-Man 2 is a little bit suspect because I have played this game multiple times and I've heard that this game has been under is it's still solid, but at the same time it has issues that holds it back from being the S tier game. So if it does if I mean if I give it some time, then maybe it will be on the S tier. But at the same time, I'm not really it's not really something that I want to like. I mean, I will go back to it, but the issues kind of hold it back from being an S tier, being a candidate for S tier. So obviously, I'll put that right there. As for this game, I will put that in B tier. Now I have some experience with this game also. This is a movie based game. If you guys don't know, this is the third entry in the Raimi Spider Man trilogy, and this is the only game. Well, that's a lie. I've owned two of the movie based games, and this game in particular, my brother actually beat this game, and this game is actually hard for him. So, as you can see, like I have played this game, but I haven't beaten it, so I don't really have much intel on it. As you shall soon see, we might, I might get another copy of it and play it on here at some time. Um, what do I want to pick? Immediately, I'm banishing this and this and this. Here's the reason why. Okay. Um, and I know all you Madden fans are gonna be like, "What are you talking about? These three are good." No, no, they're not. Um, they deserve to be banished because they're not good enough. EA's been on a roller coaster ride from being there's good Madden games, and then these are these games. These games prevented the franchise from actually um, more of a sense actually actually bring the franchise back to life, because it hasn't had a good game since. And I don't think that these three games set the standard for it. Um, and Madden 24 is not good enough either, but I will give it a D tier. I will give it a I will give it a D tier because I do play it a lot. And at the same time, I rather banish these three games because they're just not good enough. Matter of fact, I would have put all of these in the banished tier. The reason why I didn't was because I gave one I gave one Madden game a chance, and all these three don't meet expectations. They don't meet those high expectations that the Madden community actually gives. They don't actually listen to the community, so obviously that's why. I prefer Madden 16 over all of them. I put that in the B tier because I feel like that's respectable, because I feel like this is miles better than all four of these games combined. In fact, these three games are top tier because there's nothing that these four games have done to kind of like show you something that's like innovative, and not so much not so much giving you something to be excited about. It's sort of like the same song and dance every single every single time you pop in the game. Um, God, I don't know which one to start with. I guess we could continue on with the. No, I don't think we continue on with the sports stuff. Let's pick a fighting game, for instance. Let's pick Mortal Kombat. I'll put it in C tier. I have my reasons for putting this on here because it's kind of strange. It's kind of strange looking back because I prefer Mortal Kombat 11 over this game. It's not bad by any means. It's just that the DLC kind of held it back. It's kind of, and also how many. There were so many times where I I was excited to play the game, and then I put the game away. I put the there were so many times where I was excited over this game, and then I put it away as soon as I saw something bad. Case in point, the DLC that just came out. Um, the DLC kind of killed this game because it was so overpriced. It was like coming at $60, and even though I like Mortal Kombat to its core, I prefer even though I prefer Mortal Kombat 11 over this game, it still doesn't explain why it sort of had the downfall that it had, because as you guys know, Mortal Kombat is a very is a great franchise in its whole. It's one of the best fighting franchises. It's one of the best video game franchises of all time, next to Street Fighter. And this game doesn't necessarily hold its I mean, it has its diehard fan base, but what good is it if the game doesn't deliver in its value? And this holds true to this game, Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi. I put it a tier lower than Mortal Kombat 1 because this is a slightly better game. This game in particular was, oh, it had so much potential. I remember when it first came out and everybody was excited for this game, but then the second they hit the start button, it was a it had graphics. The graphics were good, the soundtrack was good, everything was good except for the controls. The controls held it back, and there is nothing that this game there's nothing that sort of broke. Everything sort of broke right there, because obviously, you know, I'm not going to say that this game is great by any means. It's decent, but it has some major issues. In fact, I might put it in the same tier as C tier, because obviously I still like this game. Rock paper scissors mechanic aside, I still think that I still think this game is can be this game can be good, except with everything else that has been implemented into the game. It sort of just killed it altogether, but it was still an all right game. It would have been solid, but it just didn't happen, and I was quite disappointed when the rock paper scissors mechanic started to get in the way, and it started not to be fun anymore. Therefore, it's not really the Dragon Ball game that you want to play. That honor goes to Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Now, this game is miles different than this one, because it's one of the best. It's one of the best games of 2007. Um, it's one of the best games ever released. Um, Infinite World is the same thing also, because these two, they have although they're from different continuities, I feel like Tenkaichi 3 is a more superior Dragon Ball game. Same with Sparking Zero, which we'll talk about in a minute. Um, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is one of the few games I have in which it's still playable. It like they're still playing it to this day. Like, people are still playing it to this day. I still am. Infinite World is one of the hardest Dragon Ball games of all time. Um, I don't recommend you going into the story mode and beating it, because you're gonna have a bad time. Um, as for Sparking Zero, I'm gonna put it at A tier. It doesn't deserve the S tier yet, because it still has some issues, but it's still a solid game no matter what you say. The only thing holding it back, though, is the goddamn community. Now, I know this is going to sprout some bad controversy, but I feel like the community is the only reason why this game is not being enjoyed as much, because I've seen how this game functions, and it functions beautifully. I don't really see a problem with it. However, there are so many things wrong with this game at launch. Um, I don't really like. I didn't really see the hype. Well, I did, because there was a lot of characters at launch, but when the game came out, it was it was sort of not finished. You ever have a game where the the game was not finished. It looks like it was not finished yet. It needed more time. No, needed more time in the oven. It was sort of like rushed in development. Sort of like when Sonic 06 was rushed in development, but that is way different than what Sparking Zero did. It actually got better with the enhancements, with the updates that it had over the course of its lifespan. I feel like it's getting better, but I feel like we can do much better. But as for Dragon Ball Fighters, I'm gonna have to put it in C tier, because I mean, oh man, I kind of feel bad of putting this on C tier, because mm, something about this just makes me feel uncertain, because I like this game. I love this game to death. The problem I have with it is it's sort of like too much of a Street Fighter game to like whenever I play a Dragon Ball game, the first thing I'm thinking about is we'll have fully destructible environments or anything else in between. I mean, a 2D like, I don't know what this translates as. It's not it's a Street Fighter base ish game. You'll see when I go into this in a second. Uh, it's something about this game that just I just can't put my finger on, and it's nice. It's nice. I like it, but at the same time, who actually enjoys Dragon Ball Fighters anymore? Like I stopped playing with it because I felt like it was boring. The story mode, it's solid. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It makes it enjoyable because the story mode is kind of solid. The story mode is solid. The gameplay is more or less it's hard to understand, but at the same time it's pretty good. But at the but like when worst comes to worst, I just don't like sometimes I don't have time to look look at something and say, well, at least they tried. This, however, I don't know, man. That's why I put it in C tier. Um, as for, I think there's another Dragon Ball game that I have here. Oh wait, I don't. Good. Oh boy. Oh, I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited. Is what I wanted to. This is what I wanted to rank for a long time, and I know one person who wanted to know what this little what this little what's this little game. This is my childhood right here. This is Godzilla Unleashed. um I'm gonna put it, I know people are gonna hate me for this, but I'm gonna put this in A tier, man. I have so many memories with this game. I could tell you a little story about it. So back in, I would like to say, 2013, I believe. The year was 2013, I believe. Was it 2013 or was it 2012? I think it was 2013. Let's go with that. So, the year was 2013, right? I went to GameStop with my family, right? My brother was looking for Skyrim, right? He was trying to look for it to add to his ever growing Xbox 360 collection, right? And then out of the corner of my eye, I see this game. Now I've been watching this game heavily, and I felt like this was the best Godzilla game I will ever own. Little did I suspect that this was actually going to be my favorite game in my collection because I couldn't stop playing it. This game, despite how bad it was, now let me tell you something. Let me put this on blast. This game is not good. This game is not good. Um, it had so much to it has so much going for it, but the only thing that killed it was motion controls. Motion controls killed this game, and it had so much potential. I think it was better with the controller, but the damage was already done. But I can tell you right now, this game's not going anywhere in my collection. This game's not going anywhere. This will always be my baby. So it will be an A tier no matter what you say. I don't care If it's trash or not, I'm still playing this game no matter what. I grew up with the PlayStation 2 version, which was kind of trash. I mean, obviously. But I can't I always remember the times where I would play with my brother every single time, every single chance we have it. After school, we be playing the hell out of this game. We be going against each other in a brawl mode. Like we probably be teaming up against other monsters and stuff. We be having a blast on this game, man. Man, those were the days, bro. And speaking of memories, uh, uh, Star Wars Battlefront S tier. Here's something about this one. Um, I think it's one of my brother's favorite games. I don't know. It may be one of my brother's favorite games. Who knows? And who cares? Um. Anyway, the classic collection was coming out, so I notified him that his favorite game was going to come out. His favorite game is going to come out on modern hardware. He wasn't like ecstatic, but like he was like, "Holy shit!" So, so I downloaded it. Cost me $35. Um, and, and when I told him this, right, we came back, right. We came back like I think he came back from work or something, and so we decided to play Battlefront 2 together. Oh my god, we were having fun. We were having fun, and this goes. I mean, I guess we can put Battlefront and the Classic Collection together. Um, even though even though the Classic Collection kind of sucks, but they're old games. What do you expect? But the Classic Collection and the original game, it you can't tell me that you can't tell me that those two games um symbolize the childhood, symbolize the great childhood, and it like along with Godzilla Unleashed, that was the only time that was like probably the most fun I had with my brother uh in terms of multiplayer. But his favorite game, Skyrim, one of the best games ever released. Uh, it was the best. I think it was the best RPG game ever released. Um, Skyrim, I have mixed. Actually, I put it in S tier, but I have mixed feelings about it. First and foremost, it's way too damn hard. It's so Okay, let me take it from the top. It's so damn confusing. See, it's not something that I would. I know, it's gonna make sense in a minute, but it's not something I would. It's not something I would recommend to a person that's actually starting out playing like the Elder Scrolls games, or don't recommend them Elden Ring because that's just way too hard. But Skyrim is a second. That's probably the second hardest game ever, even though it's one of the best ever released. So, I mean, it's a it's tough because it's tough to navigate around Skyrim without getting lost. And I have beaten this game before, but without I didn't beat this game without some help. So I guess you can say that this game is great unless you. This game is not going to be worth your time unless you have help, or you have a map, or you're cheating, or you're cheating to this, or you're using mods. I wouldn't say that's cheating, but I don't. I, don't take advice from me. I don't know. I don't know shit. So, um, yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna pick a random one. Let's go pick the new ones. Let's go pick new ones, and then we're gonna end with the old ones, shall we? Um, ooh. Actually, we're gonna put a we're gonna put a new tier here. I'm going to put uncertain because to be honest with you, beaten. I'm not beating the majority of these games. So give me a second. There's so many stuff. There's so many stuff. There's so much stuff on my desk that I can't type. There we go. Shit, spelled something wrong. I'm stupid. Anyway, to get this out the way, Metro Prime 3 Corruption, Bayonetta, and where's Devil May Cry 5? Those three right here, didn't beat them. They're good, but I haven't beat them. I haven't beat them yet, so you might see my you might see my you might see this tier list change a bit once we add some new games. This might be a two-parter. It might be a two-parter because if I'm not mistaken, I did address something. I did address that it was going to be a two-parter. So, excuse me. This may be a two-parter if I'm not mistaken. So, all right. Let's start with the new ones. Let's start with the new ones. First and foremost, let's do Marvel Rivals. B tier. It's a solid game, but I haven't gotten the chance to play. You know what? Let's put it on uncertain. I haven't gotten the chance to play it in its entirety yet. So far I'm not keen on. I mean, I like Marvel Rivals as a concept, but at the same time, I haven't like taken the time to actually like start playing the game as a whole. So it's something. It's something. It's a game. It's a good concept, but at the same time, I didn't have a chance to play it. Lego Star Wars 3. I don't like that game. I don't like anything Lego Star Wars to be exact. I know this may cause a stern. You may disagree with that, and I apologize for anyone who's like a Lego fan or whatever. But like, I'm not a big fan of anything Lego. It's like this game is for kids, and I'm 22, so obviously I'm not a big fan of not a big. I like the concept, but at the same time, I don't think I like it. Forza Motorsport 4. It's a it's a big favorite. It's a big favorite in my opinion. Also, Forza Horizon 5 is actually being released on the PS5 April 29th as we speak. So, I guess there was a reason why I put it on A tier. There was a reason why I put it on A tier because this game is fun. Like, this game is fun. It had really good graphics. It had really good cars and everything. Um, it does hold a candle to these three other racing games that I have, or other five rather, other five racing games that I have here. But the one racing game that I have experience with, and possibly I have the most childhood experience with, was this one right here. I know you never heard of it, so let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Mustang: The Legend Lives. Let me tell you something about this game. This game was fun as fuck. I'll tell you that right now. This game was so fun, man. when I was like 10 or 11 years old, I would still play, like when I was like in my pre-adolescent years. I like I remember the first time I got the PlayStation 2, and this was the first game that I got. It was the first game that we got for the system, and we just went bonkers on this game. This game is so fun. We started going bonkers on this game. Me and my brother, man. Me and my brother would just go bonkers on this game. This game is so fun to us. I know it kind of sucks if you look at it professionally, but at the same time, oh man, it had a great soundtrack, and it just makes you in a mood for any type of race. And same with this game. It's truly iconic. These two shaped my childhood. But this in particular, nah, it was not. It was not that great. It was not that great. But these two is where it's at. Um, what racing games do I have here? Um, Believe it or not, I actually have two Gran Turismo games that I own, and Gran Turismo 7 is the better of the two. Not better than Forza. Actually, I'll put this in feature. It's not better than Forza, but at the same time, Gran Turismo is solid. Same with Gran Turismo Sport. Not as better as Gran Turismo 7 or Forza, but at the same time, both of these are really solid, and you can't tell me you don't own these in your collection. Um, there's only one Need for Speed game that I own, and this game this game is also very iconic to me, and I own it. I own it now. I own the Wii version, which is probably the best version of the game, which was it was extremely controversial because I did own the DS version of this game, and I played it. I I played it really hard, and it was just not. It wasn't hitting different, but at the same time, it was still iconic. It was the last time I owned a DS. I don't want to know. I don't even want to. I don't even want to tell y'all what happened to my DS as a whole. I don't even know if I have it. What's another iconic game that I have here? Here's something that's infamous and something that's going to be banished. This game, Spider-Man: Web of Shadows. This is the Amazing Allies edition. The game as a whole is not horrible. The game as a whole is not horrible, but this actually I can search it up right now. Um, let's see. I can actually search it up right now. This is the game I'm talking about right here. Damn. Hold on. God damn it. Hold on. This is what I'm talking about right here. Let's check the images here. This is what I'm talking about. If you're trying to play this game, please do whatever you can to buy the PlayStation 3 version or the Xbox 360 version, because the PlayStation 2 version sucks, man. That's the only that's the only that's the only game that's the only version that I can actually recommend, because this version on the PlayStation 2, no. No, it's not even a game. You're just going, like, it has horrible graphics. The gameplay is it's decent to an extent, but like it doesn't save this game. Matter of fact, nothing saves this game at all. And this holds true to my first baseball game that I just so happened to own. That's banished as well. Um, you have better options than this game. Major League Baseball 2K8, you have better options. You can play MLB The Show. That's a better franchise than this. Um, I don't know why I'm so like, you know, biased towards these two. It's just that maybe it's because I don't have experience, but at the same time, I wouldn't put these in my collection because they wouldn't age well. They wouldn't age well as other people would think. Um but what will age well is these Namco Museum games. Now I have a little story about I have a story about one of them. Actually in Dig Dug I actually beat my own high score. I, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm thinking of doing that again, but at the same time I actually beat my high score in Dig Dug. Dig Dug is my favorite. That's my favorite game and in the entire Namco library. I like Pac-Man. Pac-Man is decent. It's iconic, but at the same time, Dig Dug is just Dig Dug is fantastic, man. I would play the hell out of that game every single day, man. That's the only game that I beat a high score. There were so many games on there, and it was just tons of fun. These two games had a lot of games that were really iconic to kids and adults alike. So guess we can put that on there. Now, let's talk about SingStar Pop. Does anybody know what this game is? I don't know. So I'm gonna put it in uncertain. I've is this supposed to be a Dance Dance Revolution ripoff? Cause I feel like that's a Dance Dance Revolution ripoff. It should be because it's not the same. Well, actually, it's not the same as DDR, but at the same time, you can't help but actually look at you can't help but actually look at them and say, well, it's the same, but it's different. See, it's not a Just Dance, you know. It's not a Just Dance or if we're talking about music, it's not Hatsune Miku Project Diva, but like at the same time, what even is this game? It's something with music, but you need to have an actual like microphone, and a microphone that actually you actually sing a song to. I don't know what the hell this game is. So I'm just gonna put in the uncertainty here because I have no idea what this game is. Um, there. Okay. Let me put this. Let me get this out of the way right now. No, it's just that we don't need to talk about that. That I've heard this game. I don't recommend to anyone. It's bad. Motor GP 07. I'm gonna put it on uncertain. I haven't played a lot of it, but I know one thing. I'm not so sure about it. Um, I'm not so sure about it. And before we continue, there's so many games right here that you don't even know that you don't even know existed. So you might be as confused as I am. So obviously there's a lot of games that you just so happen to not hear from, nor have you ever heard of. So I guess you can say that these games are lost to time, if you will. Not so much Sonic the Hedgehog, but at the same time, these games right here that you don't even know existed, like say for example X Winter Games Snowboarding. I bet you don't know what X Games is. It's extreme snowboarding, but at the same time, you don't even know what this game is. I don't know what this game. I don't know what this game is. I have played a little bit. It's decent. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give it this teacher. It's decent, but at the same time, I don't know what this game is. I mean, if I were to guess, it's just snowboarding, and there's nothing like it. It's snowboarding. Oh, I actually forgot to put. See, 2K actually does better with sports, so I forgot to put that on there. Okay. Um. Let's see. Let's try. Oh, you got to be kidding me. New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I'll put that in S tier. It needs no introduction. Same with Mario Kart Wii. Needs no introduction. These two games are so peak. These two games are so peak that they don't deserve to be on anything lower than an S tier. These games stood the test of time, and they were both released in the mid 2000s, I believe, and they were really good. Now let's choose something from the other neck of the woods, which is Sega. Let's try. Let's start with Sega Superstars Tennis. I have a lot of experience with this game, and I love this game. I love this game to death. I don't know why. I don't know why I love this game to death. It makes me. It's very competitive. It's very competitive. Yet at the same time, it's a very good type of competitive because it keeps me. It keeps me engaged. I know you're going back and forth. You're playing tennis with Sega characters, but at the same time, I like the concept because it makes it so competitive. It makes it competitive. It makes you like actually say, "Hey, I want to win." But unfortunately, it hasn't stood the test of time. So I guess it's not as good as people claim. But I still play this game and I love it. But to from our let's try let's get another. I guess Sonic Frontiers is next. I'm gonna put it at uncertain. I haven't actually. Yeah, we're gonna put it at uncertain. The only thing I can say about this game is the graphics are great. The story is impactful. Um, but since I haven't beaten this game yet, um, I can't say too much about the game. I can't say too much about Sonic Frontiers. It's kind of it's iffy. I don't think it's like it doesn't like reach the pinnacle milestone that Sound Generations has has brought up. Obviously I put it in S tier because it's Sound Generations. It's one of the best Sonic games ever released. Um, Sonic Colors is a clear second. It's a clear second. Um, but in terms of Sonic games, I don't play much Sonic the Hedgehog, but at the same time, I can give him so much respect because the franchise has been through its ups and downs, and it had it had games that it had a game that was bad, but they just rebounded with Sonic Unleashed. And here's the thing: I wanted Sonic Unleashed in my collection. I wanted Sonic Unleashed so bad in my collection. I don't know why I was so obsessed with Sonic Unleashed. It looked really good. It looked really good. Yeah, at the same time I was stuck with Sonic Colors and I was like, that's good too. Oh, and then like Sonic X Generations came around and I was like, I gotta buy that too. That's just good too. The first time I played Sonic Generations through this enhancement, I was blown away. The story was okay, but the gameplay was just immaculate, and I just couldn't take my eyes off it. It was so good. But there were two other games that were actually really good. Were actually really good, non-Sonic related, of course, and that was Call of Duty. Um, I'm going to go ahead and put this in S tier because this was the pinnacle of my childhood right here. This was the pinnacle of my teenage years. I played Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 a lot. Multiplayer, um, a lot. I played a lot of Team Deathmatch. Um, I played the campaign. Both campaigns were really good, and I liked I liked the old direction of Modern Warfare. But like ever since then, I haven't touched a Black Ops game. I haven't touched I haven't touched one of the new Call of Duty games. I stayed away from Call of Duty for one reason. It was because it hasn't piqued my interest. It hasn't piqued my interest since these two games release individually, because it was not hidden. It was not the same. So that's why I just stopped. I stopped right here. I didn't realize that Black Ops was really good. There was two Black Ops games that were really good. Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. Black Ops 3 was decent, and then Black Ops 4 was all right, and then it just went downhill. It just never was the same. So that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents, to be completely honest with you. Um, there are there are four more sports games I haven't ranked yet. But there's one uncertain that I have to put in there, and that is Kim Possible. What's the Switch? Now you might know who Kim Possible is. Possibly you don't. Possibly you do. Who knows? But this game, I played it. It's a traditional side scroller. It's really good. It has graphics that are decent, but it was only released on the PlayStation 2, which kind of sucks, considering the fact that this game is really good, and it could have been released on modern hardware. It could have been really good on there. But I'm uncertain of it because I haven't beaten it to its entirety yet. Um, as you, I mean, it's hard for me to describe because I have a lot. There's some, like these games right here, for example, I didn't beat them. Some of these games I haven't beat, but I did find a way to play them and actually say, okay, these actually look pretty good. Like I was gonna add Okami to the list, but I haven't beaten it yet. So you might you might see some you might see some you might see some Okami in the mix. So hmm, the B movie game. Anybody remember that movie? Me neither. But I like the game. The game is good. The game is good. I like movie based games for some reason. For some reason I like movie based games. Um they're really cool until they start mixing up ideas, and then all of a sudden it becomes bad. So I could say the B movie game was interesting. I'm hoping I can get a new copy so I can play it, and see what I really think about this game, because I really want to play this game. I really want to play this game and actually beat it for once. Um, as for the four other sports games that I have here, I put Madden 23 twice, so that's a oopsie by me. But I'm going to put 2K20 in F tier. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know why I decided to play this game, but at the same time, it never occurred to me how 2K kind of fumbled the ball with NBA 2K. It was it was one of those years where it started to go downhill, and with 2K25 coming out, and it was and to that same logic, it was trash. So I guess I can I guess I can say that this didn't tickle my fancy because I'm not so much of a basketball fan. Uh, same with um same with this too. I'll probably put this in uncertain because I played it not so keen on it. Actually, I put it in D tier. I'm not so keen on it. But it's playable ish. Now, surprisingly enough, this game was let's just say it's solid. There's so many sports games better than this. I sort of just I sort of just put it on there because reasons. What else? What else? What else? What else? PGA Tour. I will put this in D tier. I'll put this in D tier because it really doesn't matter it really doesn't matter how you play it. It's hard to navigate. It's really difficult to rate. It's really difficult to rate this higher because I don't see nothing with this game. The soundtrack is phenomenal, but the gameplay, I need more substance than that. Um, let's see here. Let's get into our first. No, we're getting to our third uh first person shooter, which is, let's see. Let's do the first Ascendant. Now the first Ascendant, once again, I'm uncertain about this game. The game is great. I'm not gonna lie. If you saw my last stream, I played this game, and this game is probably one of the hardest games I ever played. Um, Warframe is uncertain as well because I haven't beaten it, but these two games are some of the hardest games I ever played. Um, some of the hardest games I ever attempted to play. Um, but those two, those two are afterthoughts to me. The Star Wars Battlefront 2 reboot. This is a reboot to the original, so I will put this in C tier because I played it. The story is solid. The gameplay needs some work. The gameplay deserves some work because I don't understand what EA was thinking when they didn't, like, actually include something like didn't get rid of loot boxes or something like that. It kind of destroys the game a bit. It makes it a cash grab instead of an actual game that you could just sit on your couch and play. Um, but there is a bright spot. Um, there's a bright spot. This game is actually really playable, and I just don't care about loot boxes or whatever. All I care about is that this game is really good. It's really good for what it's worth, and it's really worth your money, unless you're not buying loot boxes for something. Um, but this is not the only game that is like a pay to win type game. This is possibly the biggest definition of a pay to win type game. That's actually really good, and that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Um, if you're not a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, then I don't think this game's for you. But obviously, if you're a Pokemon fan, then probably hit me. You know, fight me, fight me. Fight me. I think this game is better. But I'm just joking. I'm messing with you. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel is really good. I played a lot. I play a lot of duels in this game. Just recently they released the Blue Eyes Blue Eyes support. They released support for the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and I love it. I love it. So highly recommend if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. If you're not, give it a try. But I don't think you're gonna like what you see. And for the last game on this list, it will be Fall Guys. And let me tell you, I put this in B tier. This is solid. This is a solid game. I played it a lot during the earlier parts of my Twitch career, and somehow this game is fun. It has its moments where it gets annoying, but at the same time, I can't fault that. It's just that I have to get good. So this is tier list, all finished and ready to go. Um, I said that this was going to be subject to change. I did this a couple times already, and oh man, I had so much I wanted to put into this, but at the same time, I can't include everything. So this is a tier list. All of it, all of it, of course, was subject to change. Um, as you, I mean, there actually less games in F tier than I thought they were, because I feel like the games that I picked out were kind of decent, and while they were 50% decent, they were 50% good, 50% decent, and 50% bad. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I have I have a distinct taste in games, but at the same time, these games can't all be the best. I have to be critical to where my decisions lie. Oh God, this was a long list, as you see here. This is a lot. This is a lot. This is a lot of work. In my personal opinion, I felt like it didn't have to take too long. For me as a whole,